Today we're going to do an unboxing setup with the Vertex RX-C calcium reactor. What's going on, guys? Devin from ReefDudes. So in the past, this was my old faithful calcium reactor. I used this guy for probably a good year or so plus. However, on the new build, I decided to do a little bit of an upgrade and go for the Vertex Calcium Reactor. Now, every other Vertex product I've ever owned has been extremely high quality. They always have amazing fit and finish. They're definitely more of a premium product, and the quality in the products definitely represent that. So I'm excited to check out this new calcium reactor. Not exactly new on the market, but certainly new to me. I know a couple of people that have them, and everyone I know that has them absolutely loves them. It's like a sideways opening. All right, first open the box. We got our base plate. We got our instructions. We have some red RODI hose. We have some black hose. We got some white hose. We got these little beads. So these go inside the CO2 reaction chamber. It goes to kind of break up the water and allow a little more gas exchange. We've got a needle valve. We have what looks like our bubble or effluent rate counter. Have our little size pump. This looks like the secondary media chamber. So this guy should sit straight over there. Our reaction chamber, and the main body itself. We also got our bubble counter. So one cool thing with this is it does have a little base that makes laying it out nice and easy. If you wanted, you could skip using the base and spread stuff out in your sump a little more. If you had a tight space, this is kind of a good way to deal with it. So if we look at the pump, there is a notch on the top and bottom. There's those little nubs, so it should sit this way on it. And this white collar should lock it in. I believe has all these little kind of red plastic tubey things inside. I don't know if we're gonna be able to fit all these in here. Might have a few extra. All right, it's pretty tight. Fit almost all of them in there. Now this tube is going to screw onto this top bulkhead. So I'll leave it a little loose just to make sure it's able to line up with the union. And once it's in there snug, we can tighten it all back up. And we'll set this into the base and the pump. There's two little grooves on there where those little black nubs on the bottom of the pump sit into. So the base really does make it a nice little layout for everything. Even looking at the bottom of the base here, there's a little notch where that sits into. So this is our bubble counter. What we're gonna do is inject our gas through here, and it's gonna bubble out the top and then come out of this one and go to our main reactor. So that will just plunk and drop right inside this little ring here. And hooked up to that is going to be this, which is going to be our effluent out kind of meter. Now this one, there's little screw holes kind of indent on the side for the screw holes, little countersunk holes, so that makes it easy to know which way this screws on. Now if you're using this outside of your sump in your stand, another good idea, aside from just testing it, leak testing it first, is you can use a food safe lubricant on all the O-ring seals. Something you'd use in like a coffee machine or other stuff, which I actually have some from my espresso machine. There was the tiniest little gap or speck in it. That silicone helps seal that. Next step is to install our needle valve on the top, and that just slides right into this little push fitting. Next step is going to be to do our tubing. If you guys don't have one, it's worth picking up one of these little tube cutters. They're about less than $10 off Amazon. I think it was like $6-7. It's going to make nice, sharp, pristine cuts in your tube, and this goes a long way just for making sure everything is lined up, there's no leaks, you don't have some weird funny cross cut or something in there. They give you 3 different types of tubing. The black tubing is for doing CO2 connections. It's kind of a CO2 proof tubing. The white one, to make it easy, is to use it for your tank water. And the red one's gonna be all the internal ones within the reactor itself. Now if you look on the top here, there is actually a bunch of holes, and it kind of works as a bit of a tube guide. So using that's gonna help keep all your tubing nice and clean and straight. So the first wire we're gonna hook up is to our CO2 input. Now the CO2 sucks in through the side of this chamber. So we're gonna plug it just into the side. Make sure you push in the tube all the way in and gets a good connection. And this is gonna be coming from our CO2 output. So which is, if we're looking at here, this is our bubble counter. The CO2 is gonna come out of here and then it's gonna go into the next chamber. So get our tube to be about the proper size and use your tube cutter. It makes a nice, clean, straight cut. That's like nice, perfect cut. And this gets pushed into the output of our bubble counter. The next tube goes to recycle any gas that's stuck left in the chamber. And if you look inside, there's one that sucks from the very top, and that's gonna suck any of the liquid out. So that one just goes bloop and connects over to here. Next in the lid, you got the one that has, it sucks from lower. You see the little nipple on it. That one's gonna connect into here and go all the way down to the port on the bottom of this secondary chamber. Again, use our tube cutter, make a nice solid connection. So the gas goes at the top. The one that's slightly lower is what's gonna be pushed out into the secondary chamber. Now the secondary chamber is gonna go through your needle valve to control the flow. So we just gotta have a little plug going straight down from the bottom of the needle valve to the top of this chamber. All right, now the output of our needle valve is gonna go to our flow meter. So we're just gonna connect that guy on, and it's gonna go to the bottom of this little meter down here. Now this one hooks up to the bottom of the flow meter. That way you're gonna see it pushing up, and how high it pushes that little bubble, that little thing inside, is how much flow you're gonna have. Now the output of this flow meter is gonna go to the tank, and it's gonna draw water in through this guy. Now the only other part we haven't looked at yet is on the top here. There's a plug to hook up a pH probe. And that is something I'm gonna do once I actually get it running. It will have a probe in the top, and that's gonna let me know the pH that's happening inside the reactor, which is gonna let me tune it a little bit easier. Now to add a little extra style, I also painted the CO2 tank white to go with the red and white color scheme. I think it's gonna look absolutely awesome on there. A few people actually asked if you are allowed to paint them. I asked the place that refilled mine, and they didn't seem to know why it would be an issue or care. So as long as they don't go out of business, I should be good to go. But if you're gonna paint it, add a little extra style to your tank, make sure you check with whoever fills it. Only because I've been asked so many times, just wanna throw that one out there. But yeah, I think this is gonna be an awesome setup. Super happy so far with the reactor. Looks very high quality. It'll be probably in a couple weeks I'll actually get it set up and running on the tank, and I'll do a follow-up video at that time. But so far it definitely looks pretty awesome.